It's seemingly impossible to talk about Esoteric Ebb without mentioning Disco Elysium. I tried to approach this review in a way where I don't even talk about Disco Elysium because I thought it wouldn't be fair if I did. However, the game ends up thanking the devs of Disco Elysium and the r/Disco Elysium subreddit, so I thought I should embrace this comparison in order to give some context. I mean, you even get your own goblin version of Kim Kitsuragi. If you have played Disco Elysium, then this one will be very familiar already, and honestly, I would just recommend it if you like that one. Don't worry if you haven't played though. Planescape Torment and Monkey Island inspirations add Dungeons & Dragons and comedic flavour for a game that's good enough on its own. This is essentially a short D&D campaign that plays out over the course of 6 days, as the city of Norvik prepares for its first ever democratic election. A tea shop has exploded and you must investigate to ensure the election goes ahead as planned. You're a cleric that's also extremely talented with magic in a time where magic as a whole is limited during some sort of esoteric ebb. Oh. This skill will help your investigations and exploration during your limited time. Starting with cleric creation, you will assign your stats and a background, or pick something pre-made for you in order to interact with the world in whatever way you see fit. You'll have blurbs about the different stats and realize that each stat also has a political alignment attached to them. If you haven't guessed, a lot like Disco Elysium, politics is going to come up an awful lot. Now these stats will chime in during your conversation with various bits of dialogue that show off their personalities. These chimes depend on how high the stat is and what checks are passed in the background, very disco-like. The stats here feel a little one-note, however. Unlike Disco's 24 attributes, the 6 on show here mean the voices aren't as varied, and will become a little predictable. Using these different abilities and skill checks, you can take on the quest provided to you in any order. You can jump back and forth on what you progress depending on the leads you uncover and the checks you pass, and finish them at a completely different pace than someone else. Exploration lets you level up, find items, and unlock feats to build your character into a much more complex beast than when you start. It was great being able to bolster my charisma to charm my way through some later encounters when I started with a measly 10 in the stat. So while it may feel a bit limited or slow to start, as the game's version of combat can be punishing, and skill checks may be currently out of reach, the experience gets much more enjoyable the deeper you go and your options expand. The later days in my playthrough were a joy, as the writing made me smile, I had more options to mess up, more women to woo, and more quests to embark on. So despite mentioning Disco Elysium about 10 times in under 3 minutes and deleting even more from my initial draft, I think Esoteric Ebb is a smart, funny experience that's worthwhile on its own. So just one more thing. What are you voting in the election?